The massive Kryvax warship emerged from hyperspace above Nova Paradiso, its crystalline hull gleaming in the light of the colony's twin suns. Admiral Zextal stood on the bridge, mandibles clicking in amusement as he studied the tactical display showing the human defensive force, a mere handful of ships and ground installations protecting humanity's most distant colony. These primitives dare to resist the might of the Kryvax Empire with such pathetic numbers. He chittered to his bridge crew. Their entire defensive fleet couldn't fill one of our cargo bays. On the surface of Nova Paradiso, Commander Sarah Chen watched the enemy vessel materialize through the command center's observation dome. Her small force of 5,000 troops and support personnel represented humanity's only line of defense for the 2 million colonists living in the settlement below. The Kryvax had appeared without warning, demanding immediate surrender of the resource-rich world. Status report, Sarah barked, her eyes never leaving the threatening silhouette above. Enemy vessel mass corresponds to a Dominion-class carrier, Commander, her tactical officer responded. Estimated crew complement 50,000. They're launching dropships. Ground invasion imminent. Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. The Kryvax, like so many others before them, had fallen into the trap of equating quantity with quality. They had no idea what humanity's quantum-enhanced combat systems and neural-linked soldiers were capable of. All units, battle stations, she ordered. Activate the Chimera defense grid. Let's show these overgrown insects what they're really dealing with. Across the colony, concealed weapon emplacements powered up. Quantum-encrypted communications networks synchronized targeting data as AI battle computers spun to full awareness. In underground bunkers, soldiers donned powered armor suits that amplified their strength and speed while connecting their minds directly to their weapon systems. The first wave of Kryvax dropships descended through the atmosphere, their holds packed with warrior drones. Admiral Zextal watched with satisfaction as thousands of his troops began their assault. The humans had responded by activating some kind of energy grid around their colony, but their defensive force was so small it hardly seemed worth noting. Begin the attack, he ordered. Crush these vermin quickly. I want this world secured by nightfall. The Kryvax warriors charged forward, their chitinous armor gleaming, plasma weapons spraying energy bolts wildly. They expected the humans to break and run before their overwhelming numbers. Instead, precision fire from concealed positions began cutting down the alien troops with devastating accuracy. Sarah watched the battle unfold through the neural feeds of her soldiers. Every round found its mark, as quantum targeting systems calculated perfect firing solutions. Powered armor let her troops move with superhuman speed and agility, always one step ahead of the enemy's return fire. Multiple hostile contacts, Southeast Quadrant, reported Captain Maya Wong, commanding the colony's Special Operations Unit. Permission to engage with sonic disruptors. Granted, Sarah replied. Show them why quality beats quantity. Maya's team activated their sonic weapons, sending precisely modulated frequencies through the ground. The vibrations shattered the silicon-based nervous systems of the Kryvax warriors, dropping entire squads without firing a shot. Other Special Forces teams deployed electromagnetic pulse generators that fried the aliens' targeting systems and scrambled their command networks. In orbit, Admiral Zextal's mandibles clacked in frustration as reports of mounting casualties poured in. How were these primitives inflicting such damage? His forces outnumbered them 10-1. My lord, his tactical officer reported nervously, the humans are using technologies we've never encountered before. Their weapons are passing straight through our shields as if they weren't there. And their troops, they're moving faster than our targeting systems can track. Impossible, Zextal snarled. They're nothing but primitive apes. Redirect our remaining dropships to. His order was cut short as brilliant beams of coherent light lanced up from the surface. The colony's main defense batteries had revealed themselves, firing hypervelocity kinetic rounds wrapped in quantum-entangled energy fields that ignored conventional shields entirely. The massive rounds punched through the crystalline hull of his ship with devastating effect. Multiple hull breaches, screamed his damage control officer. Primary power failing. We're losing altitude. Sarah watched with grim satisfaction as the mighty Kryvax vessel began to list, trailing atmosphere and debris. On the ground, deprived of orbital support and command coordination, the alien warriors fell into disarray. Human forces pressed their advantage, their superior technology and training more than making up for their smaller numbers. All units, push forward, she ordered. Don't let them regroup. Show them what humanity is truly capable of. The battle raged for hours, but the outcome was never really in doubt. By sunset, the broken remnants of the Kryvax invasion force were surrendering in droves, their arrogance shattered by the reality of human military prowess. Their mighty warship lay in ruins, its admiral among the dead. As Sarah supervised the processing of prisoners, she reflected that this would not be the last time humanity faced such a challenge. But word would spread through the galaxy. Underestimating humans based on their numbers was a fatal mistake. They had evolved on a death world, forcing them to develop technologies and tactics that other races could barely comprehend. Send word to Earth Command, she instructed her communications officer. The Kryvax invasion has been repelled. But they'll be back, and next time they'll know what they're facing. Request reinforcements and updated weapons loadouts. She turned back to the observation dome, watching the sun set on a battlefield that would soon become legend throughout known space. The galaxy was about to learn an important lesson. When it came to humanity, appearances could be fatally deceiving. 2 weeks after the failed invasion of Nova Paradiso, the Kryvax Empire mobilized its full might. A flotilla of 20 crystalline warships dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the system, their hulls modified to resist quantum-penetrating weapons. Grand Marshal Kvex, Supreme Commander of the Kryvax military, had come to personally oversee the extinction of the human presence in this sector. Major Marcus Wright watched the enemy fleet's arrival through his stealth suit's enhanced optics. His 12-person ghost team had spent the past week seeding the system's asteroid belt with sophisticated sensor drones and quantum mines. The Kryvax thought they were prepared for human technology this time. They were wrong. Ghost lead to control, Marcus vocalized through his neural link. Enemy fleet in position. Activating Operation Phantom. In her underground command center, Commander Chen acknowledged the transmission. Execute at will, Ghost Lead. Show them why humans are the galaxy's apex predators. Marcus signaled his team. Quantum computers embedded in their neural interfaces synchronized their actions down to the microsecond. As one, they activated the network of devices hidden throughout the asteroid field. Thousands of holographic projectors came online, creating phantom sensor readings of a massive human battle fleet. On the bridge of his flagship, Kvex's compound eyes widened at the tactical display. Impossible. Where did they get these numbers? The sensors showed hundreds of human warships emerging from behind the asteroids, their energy signatures matching known human vessel classes perfectly. My lord, his tactical officer chittered nervously. Our new shields cannot withstand an assault of this magnitude. Kvex snarled in frustration. The humans had somehow assembled an armada that dwarfed his own force. All ships, battle formation. Prepare tow. His orders were cut short as the first quantum mines detonated. The explosions created localized pockets of altered spacetime, shredding the crystalline hulls of his vessels from the inside out. Ghost Team's infiltrators had spent days studying the Kryvax ship's resonant frequencies, calibrating the mines to exploit structural weaknesses. Multiple direct hits, Marcus reported, watching through his enhanced vision as 3 enemy vessels broke apart. Moving to Phase 2. Ghost Team activated their neural-linked stealth systems, becoming virtually invisible to all known detection methods. They used their suits' gravity manipulators to leap from asteroid to asteroid, planting more explosive charges on the Kryvax ship's blind spots. Inside the enemy fleet, panic began to spread. The phantom human armada continued to advance, filling tactical displays with hundreds of weapon locks. Ships tried to maneuver into defensive formations, but the asteroid field restricted their movements. More quantum mines detonated, creating a web of destructive anomalies. "My lord, we're detecting human stealth units throughout the fleet," an officer reported. "They're inside our formation." Kivek smashed his command console in rage. These primitives were making fools of his entire army. "Launch all fighters. Saturate the area with plasma fire. They can't stay hidden if we destroy everything." Kryvak's strike craft poured from the carrier base, filling space with a storm of energy weapons. But the human infiltrators were always one step ahead, their neural interfaces processing battlefield data faster than organic minds could react. Ghost Team's quantum-encrypted communications let them coordinate perfectly while remaining undetectable. "Remember your training," Marcus transmitted to his team. "Let their aggression work against them." The Kryvax fighters, firing blindly, began hitting their own ships. The Phantom Fleet projections scattered their formation further, herding the enemy vessels into killing zones preceded with more mines. Kyvex watched helplessly as his mighty armada was torn apart by an enemy they couldn't even see. "Ghost lead to control," Marcus reported. "Enemy fleet is at 60% combat effectiveness and falling. Moving to endgame." Commander Chen's voice came back across the quantum-encrypted channel. "Understood. Launching primary strike package now." From the surface of Nova Paradiso, a wave of actual human warships rose into orbit. Though far smaller than the Phantom Fleet, their weapons had been specifically calibrated to exploit the weaknesses Ghost Team had identified in the Kryvax defenses. Kyvex realized too late that his entire fleet had been maneuvered into a perfect targeting solution. The human vessels opened fire with their main batteries, quantum-wrapped kinetic rounds finding their marks with devastating precision. Ships that survived the initial barrage found their escape routes blocked by carefully positioned mines and asteroid debris. "This is Commander Chen to Kryvax Command." Sarah's voice echoed across all frequencies. "Your fleet is trapped and your losses are mounting. Surrender now or be destroyed completely." In his ruined command center, Kyvex knew he had been thoroughly outmaneuvered. The humans had used his own arrogance against him, turning his superior numbers into a liability. With bitter fury, he gave the order to strike his colors. As Ghost Team watched the Kryvax ships power down their weapons, Marcus allowed himself a small smile. Once again, human ingenuity had triumphed over brute force. His neural interface was already compiling the battle data for analysis, identifying new tactics for future encounters. "Ghost lead to all points," he transmitted. "Operation complete. The enemy fleet is neutralized. Well done, everyone. The galaxy just learned another lesson about underestimating humanity." The Kryvax hive mind had finally awakened. After 2 humiliating defeats, the Empire deployed its ultimate weapon, a vast organic supercomputer that linked millions of warrior drones into a single devastating consciousness. 300 ships strong, the largest Kryvax fleet ever assembled jumped into the Nova Paradiso system. Commander Chen studied the tactical projections with her senior staff. The enemy force was overwhelming, but humanity had prepared. The quantum AI core beneath Nova Paradiso hummed with activity, its processors analyzing millions of combat scenarios per second. "Atlas, status report," Sarah commanded. The AI's holographic avatar materialized, a shifting matrix of blue light, enemy fleet operating as a unified neural network. Individual ships showing minimal independent thought patterns, calculating exploit vectors. The Kryvax hive mind directed its forces with perfect coordination. Waves of fighters executed impossibly precise maneuvers, while capital ships formed an impenetrable defensive grid. Their crystalline hulls had been further reinforced, bristling with weapon ports and enhanced shields. "All human vessels, surrender now," the hive mind transmitted, its synthesized voice echoing across all frequencies. "Resistance is mathematically impossible." Sarah smiled coldly. "Atlas, execute Protocol Omega." The quantum AI launched its attack, not with weapons, but with code. Microscopic quantum transmitters seated throughout the system began broadcasting directly into the Kryvax neural network. The signal appeared to be random noise, but it contained sophisticated viral algorithms designed to exploit the biological components of the hive mind. On the enemy flagship, the first signs of confusion appeared. Individual drones began experiencing spatial disorientation as Atlas's code disrupted their shared consciousness. The perfect formation started to waver. "Launch the Valkyries," Sarah ordered. Squadrons of next-generation human fighters streamed from concealed hangars. Each craft was piloted by a human consciousness temporarily uploaded into a quantum computer core, allowing reaction times impossible for organic bodies. The Valkyries tore into the disorganized Kryvax formation, their adaptive weapon systems constantly recalibrating to maximum effect. The hive mind lashed out with overwhelming firepower, but its previously perfect coordination was compromised. Atlas's viral attack forced it to divert processing power to cyber defense, creating gaps in its tactical oversight. Human forces exploited every opening, their AI-enhanced weapons finding weak points with surgical precision. "The enemy's neural network is fragmenting," Atlas reported. "Quantum entanglement detected between hive mind nodes, implementing quantum decoherence protocols." The battlefield became chaos as the Kryvax lost their unified control. Individual ships and fighters reverted to basic programming, their actions becoming predictable. The Valkyrie squadrons carved through their ranks, while Nova Paradiso's defense grid engaged capital ships with synchronized fire. In orbit, Major Wright's Ghost team executed precision strikes on key command nodes. Their neural interfaces, guided by Atlas, identified critical transmission relays linking the hive mind to its drone forces. One by one, these connections were severed. "Enemy fleet cohesion at 30%, Atlas announced, detecting widespread systemic failures in their neural network. Primary consciousness beginning to fragment. The hive mind's voice, when it next transmitted, was distorted and erratic. What are you doing to us? How can you? We are millions. You are nothing." "We are human," Sarah replied simply. "We evolved by overcoming impossible odds. Your strength is in numbers. Ours is in adaptation. Atlas, finish it." The quantum AI unleashed its final attack protocol. The virus wormed its way into the deepest layers of the hive mind's consciousness, shattering its unified thought patterns. Across the Kryvax fleet, ships began powering down as their drone crews lost connection to the central intelligence. "Enemy neural network has collapsed," Atlas confirmed, detecting widespread surrender signals, individual units reverting to autonomous control. Sarah watched as the mighty Kryvax armada, now reduced to scattered groups of confused ships, began surrendering to human forces. The hive mind, their ultimate weapon, had been defeated by humanity's superior understanding of consciousness itself. "Send word to Earth Command," she ordered. "The Kryvax threat has been neutralized. Request containment protocols for captured biotech and preliminary diplomatic contact procedures." As cleanup operations began, Sarah reflected on the battle's significance. The Kryvax had tried to overwhelm humanity with sheer numbers, then with perfect coordination, but they had failed to understand a crucial truth. Humanity's greatest strength was not in its weapons or its AI, but in its endless capacity to adapt and overcome. Atlas' avatar shimmered. "Commander, analyzing captured Kryvax data. Their entire strategic doctrine will require revision after this defeat. Humanity's position in the galaxy has been significantly elevated." Sarah nodded. The galaxy was changing, and humanity was leading that change, not through conquest or overwhelming force, but through innovation, adaptation, and the unshakable determination that had carried their species from stone tools to the stars. Deep within the quantum-encrypted communications network of Nova Paradiso, Atlas detected an anomalous signal. The AI's analysis revealed its origin, a Kryvax resistance movement, reaching out to humanity in secret. Commander Chen and Major Wright found themselves facing an unexpected opportunity. The chance to end this war not through force, but through alliance. The resistance leader, a scientist named Virok, transmitted data exposing the Empire's fatal flaw. The rigid case system that made their military so formidable had also bred deep resentment among the lower classes. The failed invasions of Nova Paradiso had shaken their faith in the Empire's supremacy. Their society is fracturing, Virok explained through a secure quantum channel. The warrior caste defeats have undermined their authority. Many of us have long opposed their militaristic rule, but now we have proof they're not invincible. Sarah studied the intelligence with Atlas's help. The data showed widespread unrest throughout Krivak space. The Empire's resources were stretched thin, maintaining control over its own population while continuing the war effort. A precisely targeted operation could shatter their power structure completely. "We need to move quickly," Marcus advised. Ghost Team can insert into their capital world using the Resistance's access codes. If we can neutralize their leadership while Virok's people incite widespread rebellion. Sarah nodded. Atlas, begin operational planning. We'll need perfect coordination between our forces and the Resistance. One mistake could doom everything. The AI's processors hummed as it calculated possibilities. Optimal strategy identified. Recommend simultaneous strikes on 17 key command nodes. Success probability, 78.3% with current resources. The joint operation launched under cover of darkness. Ghost Team, their stealth technology enhanced by Krivak's insider knowledge, infiltrated the heavily defended capital. Resistance cells across the Empire waited for the signal, ready to seize control of crucial infrastructure. In the Imperial Palace, the ruling council received reports of minor disturbances, nothing their security forces couldn't handle. They had no way of knowing that human quantum infiltrators were already inside their inner sanctum, placing untraceable charges at structural weak points. "All teams in position," Marcus reported. "Awaiting your command." Sarah took a deep breath. Atlas, initiate Operation Sunrise. The AI triggered a cascading series of events. Ghost Team's explosives detonated, precisely collapsing key sections of the palace. As the council chambers were exposed, Virok's rebels launched their coordinated uprising. Across the Empire, resistance forces seized control of communication hubs and military installations. The warrior caste reacted with predictable violence, but found their commands blocked by compromised networks. Atlas had inserted quantum viruses into their systems, turning their own technology against them. Without central coordination, their response was fragmented and ineffective. "Imperial forces are in disarray," Atlas reported. Resistance gaining control of major population centers. Warrior caste units beginning to surrender to local authorities. Within hours, the Empire's iron grip began to crumble. Virok's resistance, supported by human tactical advisors and technology, established control over key worlds. The warrior caste, their mystique of invincibility shattered, faced a choice between surrender or irrelevance. In the ruins of the Imperial Palace, Sarah met with Virok and the newly formed provisional government. "Humanity doesn't seek conquest," she assured them. "We want peaceful cooperation between our species. Your people's knowledge and our innovation could transform the galaxy." Virok's compound eyes reflected hope. "The warrior caste kept us isolated, afraid of outside influences, but your victories prove there are better ways than endless conquest. Together, we can build something greater than the Empire ever was." As peace talks began, Atlas calculated the long-term implications. "Commander, this alliance fundamentally alters the balance of power in known space. Recommendation: begin preparations for increased diplomatic activity from other species." Sarah smiled. Humanity had won not just through superior technology or tactics, but by offering hope for a better future. The galaxy was about to enter a new age of cooperation and innovation, with humans and Krivaks working together to light the way. 3 months after the revolution, the last loyalist Krivak's fleet emerged from hyperspace near Nova Paradiso. Led by Supreme Warlord Skath, These die-hard warriors refused to accept the Empire's fall. 500 ships strong, they came to either restore the old order or die trying. Commander Chen watched their approach from Atlas's enhanced command center, now integrated with Krivak's biotechnology. Beside her stood Varrock and Major Wright, representing the new alliance that had reshaped galactic politics. "They're desperate," Varrock observed. "Zakath would rather destroy everything than accept change." Atlas, battle assessment, Sarah commanded. "Enemy fleet possesses superior numbers, but outdated tactical protocols. Their neural networks remain vulnerable to our quantum attacks. However, detecting signs of suicide protocols, they intend to fight to the last ship." The Loyalist fleet launched its attack without warning or demands. Waves of fighters and capital ships charged forward, weapons blazing. But humanity and their Krivak's allies were ready. The combined defense fleet emerged from quantum slip space, using technology that merged human innovation with Krivak's bioengineering. Former Ghost Team operators worked alongside reformed warrior cased pilots, their neural networks synchronized through Atlas's quantum core. "All units, execute Formation Omega," Sarah ordered. "Show them the power of unity." The Allied fleet moved with unprecedented coordination. Human quantum weapons coupled with Krivak's crystalline technology created devastating combination attacks. Fighter squadrons flowed around enemy fire like liquid metal, their pilots merged consciousness, anticipating every move. Zakath's forces fought with suicidal fury, but they faced an enemy that had transcended the limitations of both species. The Alliance's ships seemed to bend space itself, appearing wherever the Loyalists were most vulnerable. "Enemy fleet at 60% strength," Atlas reported, detecting mass activation of suicide protocols. "This ends now," Sarah declared. "Varrock, signal the final phase." From the surface of Nova Paradiso, a massive quantum cannon powered up, the product of human and Krivak's engineering. It fired a beam of pure probability manipulation, temporarily transforming space around the Loyalist fleet into a quantum probability cloud. In that moment, every possible outcome of the battle existed simultaneously. Atlas and the merged neural networks guided their forces through this chaos, selecting the optimal reality strand. When normal space reasserted itself, Zakath's fleet found itself completely outmaneuvered, surrounded on all sides. "Zakath," Sarah transmitted on all frequencies, "your empire is gone. But your people live on, growing stronger through cooperation instead of conquest. Surrender and be part of this new future." For a long moment, silence filled the void. Then, one by one, the Loyalist ships began powering down their weapons. Even Zakath's legendary pride couldn't deny the evidence before him. The Alliance had achieved things the Empire never could. As the last resistors surrendered, Sarah looked out at the combined fleet. Human ingenuity and Krivak's biology, working in harmony, had created something unprecedented. Other species were already reaching out, eager to join this new paradigm of cooperation. "The galaxy's watching," Marcus noted. They all saw a primitive human colony stand up to an empire. Now they're seeing what we can accomplish together. Atlas's calculations projected centuries of advancement and discovery. The quantum AI had evolved too, shaped by its interaction with Krivak's biotechnology. The probability of major conflict has dropped to historic lows. Innovation and exploration indices are reaching unprecedented levels. Sarah smiled. Humanity had proven itself not just through force of arms, but by offering a better way forward. They had turned an enemy into an ally, fear into hope, and conflict into cooperation. The stars themselves seemed brighter now, beckoning humanity and their new allies onward. Together, they would explore, innovate, and overcome whatever challenges awaited them in the vast unknown. The galaxy had learned its final lesson. Never underestimate the power of human determination, especially when combined with the willingness to forge new paths forward.